The man, the myth, the legend, or as most people just call him, Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash was a world-renowned country music artist, singer-songwriter, and my favorite artist. With his deep, rich voice uplifting, and towards the end of his life, darker music, he created a legacy that will affect generations to come. As agreed with by Robert Hillin, who states his belief in the power of music to convey ideas, not just entertain, has filtered down to musicians in every field, from all rock to hip hop, from Bruce Springsteen and U2 to Arcade Fire and Kanye West. Popular music is different from Johnny Cash. So, in 3 short sections, I'll tell you about Johnny Cash, the beginning of his life, the first half of his music career, and the last half of his music career. According to Johnny Cash biography, Johnny Cash Online, he was born in Kingsland, Arkansas, to a farmer named Ray Cash and Carrie Rivers Cash, who also played the guitar, carried around their travels. During the Depression, Johnny Cash's father took part of an experimental farming plan created by Roosevelt's new administration. They were given 20 acres of land and a 5-bedroom house in the Dias colony. In those fields that they owned, Johnny Cash acted as a water boy at only 5 years old and heard many stories from the sharecroppers. This is where many of his songs that he will write in the next 5 decades were influenced from the floods, droughts, the war, and the bond he had between him and his brothers. The very beginning of career. Johnny Cash's first experience with guitars originated during his service as a radio intercept officer for the Air Force, where he assembles 5 servicemen who share his country and western tastes and learns to strum the guitar and the occasional verse. After being discharged, he's eager to get into music and decides to move to Memphis, where among other jobs, his brother Roy hooks him up with a job and introduces him to 2 people who also play guitar named Luther Monroe Perkins and Marshall Grant. With these 3, they form the Tennessee 3. They first begin with gospel music, but then after being renamed to the Tennessee 2 after losing one person, and auditioning at Sun Records, that's right there, they record Wide Open Road, You're My Baby. They're advised to stick to country and western. A couple of their first accomplishments were in 1995, Cash returns to Sun Records and records Hey Porter, which later back to Cry 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 lands him the 14th spot on country western billboards. In December of 1995, Johnny Cash records Folsom Prison Blues, which hits number 4 on the country western charts. It's also my favorite song. In April of 1956, Cash hits number 1 with I Walk the Line, right here, which sold more than 2 million copies. Cash continued with his success to 1957 with top 15, Give My Love to Rose, and debuted on Grand Ole Opry. In 1958, he hit the number 1 spots with Ballad of a Teenage Queen and Guess Things Happen That Way. The latter half of his music career, start of his downfall, Johnny Cash performed more than 300 concerts a year, and they guess around over 8,200 in his life, and he decided to turn to amphetamines for help, which eventually affected his work and music in a very negative way. Then he met June Carter, who would soon help him. In fact, she helped co-write Ring of Fire, which is one of the best sellers. In 1965, he was busted in El Paso for smuggling amphetamines in his guitar case. Then, to continue this downward spiral, the Grand Ole Opry refused to let him perform. This was a major blow to him, and he decided to crash the stage lights. He was there. 1960, Cash's marriage to Vivian fell out, and he moved back to Nashville, where he rekindled his friendship with the now-divorced June Carter. After that, June Carter eventually helped drag Johnny Cash out of the hellhole that is addiction. She also helped him get a career back on the track with their duet, Jackson, which ended up winning a Grammy together. They created a fruitful relationship and a marriage that lasted over 30 years. Johnny's presence grew and grew with an album recorded live at Folsom Prison, picture of it here, and many extremely popular releases. He eventually starred in an NBC television show called The Johnny Cash Show, which ran for 2 years. As he continued creating singles hits such as Sunday Morning Coming Down, Flesh and Blood, and Man in Black, his presence eventually began to decrease in around the mid-1970s. Although he teamed up with other star personalities to sing duets in 1980, Johnny Cash became the youngest person to be inducted to the Country Music West Hall of Fame. And this time he also teamed up with Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, and Waylon Jennings to create the Highwaymen. Eventually, Johnny began having health problems in the late 90s and died, along with his beloved June Carter, in 2003 of diabetes, but not before releasing one more album, American 4, The Man Comes Around, in 2002, which has featured many well-known hits such as So Lonesome I Could Cry, Desperado, and Hurt, which music video was nominated for the Video of the Year and won a Grammy. In conclusion, Johnny Cash was a very successful and influential country and western singer with a very interesting and up-and-down life. As shown by his many and obvious influences, Johnny Cash is easily one of the best country and western artists. And of course, knowing what you know now, I hope you decide to go and listen to some of his music. Thank you.